He could be saying nonsense and charging me $1,000 for it. And that's really where SEO gets dangerous. But if you think about, okay, what do you want to do? And if you're looking at that customer and you think about what they want and answer that on your website, that's going to be the best start.
Welcome to the Maven Marketing Podcast. Today is Maven Monday. I'm your host, Brandon Welch, and I'm here with the irreplaceable, the impeccable, the unfairly good-looking Caleb Agee.
Wow. I don't know what to say to that. Thank you.
Hey, it's pullover day. Where's your pullover?
Left it at home.
It is pullover day because it's rainy, it's cloudy, it's drizzly, and what better day than to go deep? It is SEO day, folks.
Oh, yeah.
We've saved our deepest topic for a day such as this, and it's cozy in here, and we're just going to go 2 episodes worth of everything you ever wanted or needed to know about SEO.
Doubleheader. Speaking
of clouds, what do clouds wear?
Pullovers.
Thunderwear. Thunderwear, folks. You heard it here. Caleb, explain the questions we've had around SEO.
Yeah.
This is kind of a conglomerate episode addressing a bunch of you at once.
So we've had a lot of questions. I was even talking to a recent college graduate. He was asking about SEO just this week, and we've had a lot of questions come in just around a range of topics with SEO, and they sound like, how can I improve SEO? Why are my competitors ranking higher than me? Do I need paid traffic? If I have good SEO, should I, they're all asking, really, is this what I should be pursuing? And I think early on as a business, anybody who has a website, that's the first thing they're thinking about is how do I get it found?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's the new phone book. It's not even the new phone book. It is the phone book.
Yeah.
The phone book was the old Google. Now it's not the new Google. It's the new phone book. That's how that works, right?
Nate, the camera guy, doesn't even know what a phone book is.
Yeah. Nate, the camera guy. Did you ever get a phone book? Did you have to sit on one of those when you were like driving when you were 15 because you were short and skinny like Caleb and I? Okay. So we broke this down into 6 parts, and we're going to do it in 2 episodes to save you any overage in time. But I'm going to lay out the 6 sections real quick. One is how can I improve SEO, what we're calling the anatomy of a search engine. So we're going to break down all of the places you can be on search engines. There's a lot of them, and it's not just one place you can be or should choose to be. So the anatomy of a search engine. Section 2 is how do we give Google what they want? It's all about giving Google what they want. 3 is an action plan for local SEO, so like maps and more of a localized business. 4 is good old-fashioned organic SEO for your website, so the practice of making your website great and worthy of ranking. 5 is going to be how to accurately measure real progress. So there's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of things you think mean good that you're doing good in SEO or bad in SEO, and we're just going to give you the tools to know where you are. So that'll be helpful. And then 6 is just committing to SEO as a strategy, and kind of the pros and cons of the whole bag of efforts that we're going to talk about today. So is it okay if we jump right in?
Yeah, we'll hit those first 3 in this episode.
Yeah, we're going to do 3 and 3. So let's talk about the anatomy of a search engine. And so in the history of our agency and just of us being marketers, this has probably been one of the most popular topics we've spoken about with small businesses.
Yeah.
And we had this presentation called The Anatomy of a Search Engine. And it used to start with the 3 places you could be on a search engine. And shouldn't be of any surprise that the world is more complex. And so there's actually 5 places and 5 games you could have on the search engine. I'm going to go really quickly all the places you can be, just so we're separating when you hear this big bucket term of SEO. What that actually means.
Yeah, real quick. SEO stands for search engine optimization. So it's the practice of positioning yourself to rank higher in the results of a search engine. So somebody searched for something, you're hoping, if it's related to your business in this case, you're hoping that you rank high on the list or on the top, or that's everybody's goal.
That's how people find you. And then the assumption is they find you and do business with you, but it goes a little deeper than that. So it should be the highest and most helpful content, right? So thank you for that clarification. Another I would add in is anytime we're talking about a search engine, it could also be SEM, which is paying Google or another search engine to be, directly in a spot.
Yeah.
So you probably know that if you've spent any time around it, but we're going to learn to designate between SEO and SEM and the different types of SEO and SEM. The first of those is good old-fashioned paid ads. So I'm going to go sort of down the page in the order that Google would show you a result. And so, and by the way, we're using Google because right now currently gets about 85-86% of the internet's search traffic. And probably what's true for Google would be true for Bing and the other search engines. So just keep that in mind. So paid ads, we all know this to be what used to be called AdWords. Google now calls them Google Ads. And the big idea here is we say, hey, Google, when somebody types this, I want you to show them my ad.
Yep. Yeah. And we do that all the time here as an agency.
Yep.
But they'll say very small, sponsored.
Next to them. Sponsored. Yeah, they're sponsored ad sections. And so in the olden days and still now, the first part of that is that we are bidding on key phrases. And there's a ton of different things to know about how you would bid on a certain phrase, which phrases are going to bring you money, and how you measure that. I'm not going to go into the weeds with SEM. That's for another episode.
We need to have that.
Really good one.
We got to have that soon.
That one's coming soon.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to get past the two paid sections just so you know the difference. I'm going to give one set of pros and cons, though. So a lot of people go, well, shoot, if I'm organically ranked, why do I need to be in the paid ad section? Because the assumption is, wow, it's free traffic, so why would I pay for it? A couple things. Google puts paid traffic first, and they always will, right?
Yep.
So even if you're like the best organically ranked site in the world, you're missing opportunities, and a big part of the clicks on Google's search engine page comes from that top paid section, whether we like it or not.
Yep.
And so the pro there is, even though the organic section does get a lot of clicks, studies are showing currently about 85% of the clicks. The sales and the transaction comes from more paid ads. So in the nature of that is the paid ads, we're able to instantly make them a sales message. Organic, Google kind of decides what shows up and where, but paid, for the money we spend, we can instantly decide what the ad says.
Yep.
We can instantly change, this is probably more importantly, the landing page it goes to. We can test and try in the real time. They're first on the page. They have more salesy transactional language associated with them. And so therefore, about compared to organic traffic, about 150% more sales or leads that lead to sales come from that paid section.
Wow.
So they're more deadly when it comes to transactions, right?
Yeah.
That's the pro. The con is that we have to pay for them, and that's its whole other game. So there's one other place you could be, and this kind of goes to the second part of the anatomy of search engine, and that's called the Google Guaranteed section. A few years ago, Google started saying, okay, a lot of these websites were getting big money for being directories and being like accredited. So think Angie's List, think even Better Business Bureau, think a lot of these sites that are charging companies for leads.
Yeah.
And so they said, we're going to get our piece of that pie. We're going to do what's called Google Guarantee and just show it right in the smack dab on the landing page.
Yeah.
You do have to pay to be there, but Google says, hey, you have to have a background check as well. And we're going to put your ratings there, and we're going to make sure you're an upstanding company because they're going to guarantee the user recourse if something goes wrong in that transaction.
Yeah.
So if you hire a Google Guarantee company and they skip town, Google's going to actually refund you what you were out. That's for the user side. For the advertiser side, Google Guarantee does require a background check, and it is way, way, way less controllable than Google Ads platform.
Yeah, very simple.
You basically go in and say, I'm willing to pay $50 for a phone call, and if they decide you're the best provider, and they don't really tell you why
No.
or what it takes to outbid the others, they say, cool, we'll give you some phone calls. One other nice feature on Google Guarantee, even though you don't get to play with ranking or a whole lot to do with your messaging, if you get a call for something you deem to not be something you've requested calls for, so let's say you're a plumber and you get a call for an HVAC call,
you
can go to Google and say, hey, this person called, it's a bogus lead, please give me my money back. Anything you want to add to that?
No, I think those are very thin on the search results page. Yeah. So they usually, it's like the name of the company, I think a star rating, and maybe a button or a link on the name.
Yeah.
But
so it doesn't do a whole lot in getting people bonded with you or trusting you or liking you.
Yeah.
It's just a high spot on the page, and somebody goes click, and they probably don't even realize who they're calling when they do that.
At the very beginning, those were really, really powerful for getting leads if you were first to the party. But now they're very saturated in most areas, and you're just competing against everybody who's applied and entered that. And we're not really sure completely, other than your bid adjustment. That's the only thing you can seem to
you
change.
Say I want to pay $50 for a call or $80 for a call, and Google will give kind of the highest bidders the volume, and that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. And yeah, so it's strong, it's helpful, but it's more supplemental.
Cool. So paid traffic, what you need to know in general for those two areas is that more conversions come from that. That's not our opinion. That is study after study from multiple independent research firms over the years. WordStream is a good one to look at. Moz is a good one. Marketing Pro Insights also had a good one I looked at recently. So check those two out. Now let's get to the meat of SEO and what most people think of SEO, which is, quote, free traffic, right? So how in the world would we get Google to show our website high on the list? That's point 2. It's section 2. So first section, anatomy of search engine. We are in how to give Google, and I put in parentheses, and your customers what they really want. Did you know, Caleb? With certainty, I can say that the founders of Google got a copy of the Maven Marketer.
Oh yeah. Did you ship it to them?
I did, back in 1996. You know, they got a time machine. They went in the future and they got a copy of the Maven Marketer, and they said, "Well, this makes a whole lot of sense. So let's build a search engine off of it."
Oh yeah,
right.
I'm sure.
So if you know anything about the Maven Marketer or the Maven method, or what we preach, and frankly, what the best marketers in history have earned their position being the best at, has everything to do with the human being. And Google knows this. They know that for them to be the biggest and the best in the world, they have to be the most helpful in the world. And so I did this as a stop off, just as a mindset, because the nerds and the nerd talk tend to take over SEO really, really quickly.
Yeah.
And people start looking at domain authority, and they start looking at CTRs, and they start looking at this report or that report that somebody's probably skewed to make something look a certain way, and they think that's the secret to SEO. Secret to SEO is to give the user what they want. And while we're thinking about this, I want to introduce a few terms here. Not all searches are created equal in that they are not equal intended. So there's 4 types of searches, and I want you to think about when you're doing anything in the category of SEO, which one you're trying to rank for. Yeah. So there are informational searches, which are like how to, or how do I, or why, or how many, people die of this certain cause of the year, or whatever, or how do I replace my carburetor in my XYZ motor.
Hint, YouTube is going to rank very high for most of these searches these days. Exactly. Because it's relevant, quality content that people, this is the YouTube generation. You want to know how to do something? I promise you the YouTube videos are going to show up first.
Yeah. So what does that mean when somebody's using an informational keyword? They're looking to learn, not necessarily to buy. Now that can be powerful if you're the one teaching them and you earn their trust later on, but a large majority of searches, like way, way, way more than that, converting type searches we talked earlier, a lot of them are just informational. Yeah. So when you say I want to rank, it's like, what do you want to rank for? Yeah. Are you trying to show up to be the partner and the helpful person, or are you just trying to get quick people who are looking for your category? Yeah. So informational keywords. There are navigational keywords, which they're just trying to get somewhere on the internet, and they're lazy and they don't want to type it in. So they're typing in Frank and Maven instead of going to frankandmaven.com directly. Yeah. Yep. Or they're saying ESPN, and they're intending to go to ESPN's website, but they can't remember the exact link or whatever. Sure. So navigational keywords. There are transactional keywords. These are customers who are willing to convert, but they're kind of in the research cycle. So they might be looking for the best estate planning attorneys, or the best solar companies, or solar company reviews. Yep. It's an intent-worthy transaction, but they're still kind of in that research mode. And so what you would write to a person like that has to be different than you would write to, somebody who's ready to buy. And that last keyword are commercial keywords. People who are literally looking to buy a certain Nike shoe, or they're looking to make a decision on a roofer today, or they're making a decision on a mechanic because their car's broke down. Yeah. And back that up, we're just trying to get empathetic about every keyword that we have. So if they're searching this way, we want to show them something that makes sense to answer that question. Yeah. Follow me on that? Yep. Cool. So, can you think of any categories where somebody would go from informational to transactional and commercial?
My dad has been shopping for a mattress lately, so he started.
Perfect.
He started in research mode.
Yes.
My dad's a big researcher, but I think we all are. My dad's like next level, consumer report type of comparative. Back in the day, you buy the magazine.
Oh,
you remember that?
Consumer Reports and JD Power and all that stuff. Yeah,
all that stuff. So he's comparing all the different brands, but he's not looking. He's starting in that informational. Which kind is better? What brands are better? And then it moves on to.
Do I need a spring mattress or a memory foam mattress?
Then it moves forward into, okay, now who sells the kind that I like?
But he took quite a bit of time.
Yeah,
on that informational.
He did.
That whoever did the best in that scenario, educating him.
Yeah,
won. Right.
I would estimate he spent 70% of his time in the informational phase, probably 20% of the time. Looking at the what we would call the transactional phase, and then only 10% in the buy phase.
Yeah,
I would be surprised if it was any more than that, because that's where he spends the bulk of his time, research. And so
think about that. If you're a company thinking, I just need to show up on the list, and if I show up, I win. It's not that simple. It's how far back are you meeting the person?
Yeah.
And so let's say you're a window company and somebody's looking for. I use that because we have a lot of window company examples. And you really, really, really want to dominate SEO, well, you got to be committed to giving away information that you probably would normally save for the sales pitch.
Yeah.
A lot of companies don't want to do that.
That's
true. A lot of companies don't want to take the time or give up that quote unquote power and tell you, oh, a window costs this much here, and this is our upgrades, and this is our upgrades here. Or they don't want to tell you anything that would be considered proprietary knowledge, or they don't want to give you that control so somebody can hold it up and hold you to a certain standard.
Yeah.
And then the time factor is, do I really want to be writing 10,000 words about the difference in a fiberglass or a vinyl or a wood window? Maybe the answer is yes, but that is a big commitment. And if you're really, really trying to win at all levels, you're starting way back in that information phase where people spend their money.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, search is one way to do that. You can also do that with mass media. And there's kind of a decision point of, do you want to do one, the other, or both? And time and money are both involved. So that is section 2. We're backing up. Instead of just saying, I want to be on a search engine, give it to me now, we're saying, people are at different phases, which is in line with the Maven method. That's why I said Google had to have read it, because frankly, all truth comes back down to the human being will do what the human being decides is best.
Yeah.
And that's what you need to do in search, just like all other
all
venues.
Advertising. I think it pulls you away from that's what you were alluding to earlier. A lot of this SEO language can turn into a very technical, over your head. It's like going to the mechanic and not knowing they speak gibberish to you, and people just say, okay, I guess I have to. Or your HVAC person comes in, they're like, yeah, you've got a blown, gastro whatever, and you're like, what? And like, I guess I have to fix it. And he could be saying nonsense and charging me $1,000 for it. And that's really where SEO gets dangerous. But if you think about, okay, what do you want to do? And if that person, if you're hiring somebody to do SEO, or if you're trying to do SEO yourself, if you're looking at that customer and you think about what they want and answer that on your website, that's going to be the best start, no matter what.
Absolutely. Yes. So this next few sections is designed to give you a little bit of insider knowledge as to how to hold your mechanic or your SEO nerd, or yourself accountable, and not get caught up too much in the weeds, but to go, okay, these are the things that actually drive search results. So we're going to break down back to that anatomy of the search engine. We're going into past the paid section. We're going into what we call the local section, or what Google calls a local finder, Google Maps. And then after that, in the next episode, we're going to go into your website, how you rank in the website section. So let's talk about local. So after the ads, this little thing called the local pack comes up.
Which shows up usually if there's some sort of geography modifier to the search. So if I search in town, or in Springfield, Missouri is where we're located. If I say roofer in Springfield,
Yes.
that's when the map's going to pop up, or near me is a lot of times what happens.
Yep.
So without that, sometimes it shows up if it seems like it's a local search. If I still searched roofer, Google's going to think I need a local roofer.
Exactly.
But if you're searching for something random, it could be an online result.
So being in the local section, which is sort of the middle of the page, is all about credibility and data that Google can associate you with the exact location the person is. So I'm going to give you the broad overview of what Google looks at. The number one thing, the number one factor in about 25% of the score is the quality of your Google My Business page. So just the data that you directly give Google, which could be everything from filling out descriptions, could it be everything from how do you respond to reviews, the pictures you put in, how often are you updating that listing, the posts that you put in your Google profile. There's a Q&A section you can answer now. So all of the data you can possibly give Google directly in the Google My Business is about a fourth of the game. And these other ones are going to make up like, 10, 15% each of the others. So so they first look at what has the user told us about them, and then what do the reviews say about them. That's all kind of in your Google profile.
So step one, no matter what, go claim your Google My Business page. If you haven't done that, and if you have done that but haven't filled it out entirely, go fill out every single form that applies to you, every field, your hours, your business categories.
Special holidays. Are you veteran owned?
Everything.
Are you minority owned?
Yeah.
Do you celebrate Hanukkah, and so you're going to put that in your special hours? What kind of payments do you take?
Fill out a strong description. Put extra pictures that you've got laying around.
Absolutely.
Not just your logo in the storefront. Let's get some pictures of the inside.
And if you did that more than 6 months ago, go back and do it again. Refresh it, add to it.
That's
Actually,
great.
I could argue if you did it more than 6 weeks ago, right? Cool. So Google My Business profile. Be really serious about and get a really good SEO writer if you're not one. Somebody who's capable of writing sentences that make sense, but also kind of looping in creatively your keywords, right? You want to rank for. Step number 2, and this is very, very big as well. It's about 16% of Google's current scoring and how they decide to rank you. It is your name, address, and phone number, or what you'll see often talked about as NAP Citations. And so Google doesn't just use what you tell them. They go, okay, cool. Frank and Maven is located at 909 East Republic Road. That's what they say. Now, how many other places on the internet can I find that listed?
Yeah.
And so it's ironic to think about, but Google actually uses other directories to determine, are you high on the list like you should, or sorry, are you as quality as you say that you are?
Yeah.
So Google uses other websites to determine your quality of information. So if you have your name, address, and phone number, Frank and Maven 909 Republic Road, spelled the exact same way, same phone number, same description, same categories listed for your business. There's all these different fields you could fill out on Yelp and Manta and LinkedIn and local search and all these other directories. All at once. There's about 70 of them on the internet that Google considers. That is huge creds for you.
Oh, yeah.
More importantly, if they don't find you there or they find discrepancies, that's negative cred to you. So how in the world would you do that? Well, there's a company called Yext that has just made this super easy. And you can pay them about $100 a month, maybe a little less, and you put your one big giant file, all of your pictures, all your descriptions, all your categories, all your hours of operation into one packet, and they, via backdoors that they've set up, they update it pretty quickly within a week.
Everywhere.
Yes.
To 80 places, maybe.
Correct. And so they go do all the heavy lifting for you. And you can see a free report if you just go to yext.com. There's a big button on the homepage, and you'll get to see how well you rank in that. But if you have never done that, or if you haven't manually gone to those directories, there's a good chance that there's missing juice there for you. And so I would just encourage you to write really good descriptions. It's not a couple sentences, but you can usually put 500 to 1,000 characters in those. So that's second thing for local SEO. First was your Google Maps in your Google My Business description. Second is name, address, phone citations, which are going to use Yext to submit. The third, and very, very high on the list, is reviews. Quantity, quality. How much have you responded to them, and do the reviews include keywords or names of the services and products you provide? So if you have like get as many reviews as you can, that's a given, right?
Yep.
But if your reviews are from, somebody who takes the time to write a paragraph and says, Randy was such a awesome guy. He was so helpful with our window replacement project. And Randy's trying to rank for window replacement. That's good, right?
Bonus points.
If they say, Elise was so helpful with our estate plan and she helped us with a nursing home trust and my goodness, and, she helped us with the durable power of attorney. Those are all things that are high, priority for her, for that law firm to rank for. That is better than if they just go leave a 5-star review.
Yeah.
So right after that, you want to make sure you're in the Google My Business platform, and frankly, all of them, Yelp and Angie's List and all the places you could respond to reviews, and you want to respond as fast as possible.
Yeah.
I would put an office person as something they check daily.
Yeah. A lot of them will email you as well when you get a review. And we'll need to do, I think we have a really old video laying around somewhere, but we'll need to do a fresh one on how to respond to reviews, because that is powerful.
Yes.
Powerful.
We have an old Maven Monday. But hey, we've grown gray hair since then.
Yeah.
We're so much
couple.
wiser.
Yes.
Yeah. It's gotta mean our advice is better with gray hair, right? So respond to the reviews, and just like you want good keyword structure in the reviews that you get, you want to encourage people to list like the categories that you want to rank for. You also want to include those. Hey, Caleb, we're so glad that we got to help you with your windows and doors.
Yeah.
Right? And so Google scans that, and they're looking at this going, what clues do we have that this is really a good
window and door company? And hey, it's all reinforcing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Second thing with that, respond to bad reviews too, especially respond to bad reviews, and don't try to defend yourself. Just make a quick, succinct response and offer some sort of a solution. We'll talk about that later, or you can look at the Legacy Maven Monday episode on that. Cool. So we've talked about responding to reviews. We've talked about getting good quality reviews. We've talked about getting quantity reviews. The next thing is what we call local links. So this one is less straightforward. And this is where you start to realize, okay, if you've done all these things and you're not ranking and you're not in that top 3 to 5 areas of the local listing in the maps, or what Google calls the local finder, you're going to have to get a little bit more aggressive. And so this local links is anywhere Google can see that an authority type site, like a chamber of commerce or like a local event site, or something that has a really high degree of relevant content to your city. So Springfield, Missouri, so Springfield Chamber of Commerce. Yeah. Or, if you're in a big town like Atlanta or Louisville, or in, Charlotte, where there's a lot of little different suburbs, you want to go out to each one of those, and you're trying to get both. You're trying to get a listing of your business. You're trying to get them to talk about what your business does and link back to your website. You're also trying to show up in things like charity events. You're trying to get your name listed on local news sites. You're trying to get highly relevant websites for your town name and your suburb's name. Yeah. And having them link back to you and mention your name. Yeah.
Google's doing that. The same thing they did with your name, address, and phone number. They're doing that with the validity of your website by checking to see that, hey, they are here, they're in that city, and look, people care enough about them, they're credible enough that they're willing to point to them, send other traffic to that place.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the more places Google finds you and other people saying you're great, the more they're going to trust that you're great. And the last part of local SEO, like getting in the maps, or Google calls the local finder, is kind of the same criteria. You're wanting to rank your actual website for local SEO. So instead of just putting your phone number on there, make sure that in your footer, there's a name, address, and phone number, just like it is on Google and everywhere else. You want to have an About Us page or a locations page that has the address of every one of your locations, and the page is titled in that suburb. So if I'm thinking Atlanta, it might be Athens, Lawrenceville, Winder, all these different areas. I might have a locations page, and Google can see, wow, this isn't just an Atlanta-based company. They've got 30 pages for all their locations, and that contributes to, Google's trust. Yeah. And then you're putting a Google map as to where your locations are. Like Google sees that you have a Google map, and they trust that. So Okay, we are at the halfway point of local SEO. We've gone through the three major sections of one, what is the anatomy of a search engine? Like, where can you be? Two, how to give Google what they want. Three, an action plan for local SEO. And 4, 5, and 6 are coming up in the next episode. You are listening to Maven Monday on the Maven Marketer podcast. And we're taking weekly questions. This one's a conglomeration of a lot of weeks of and a lot of years of SEO questions. If you have a question on SEO or anything else, send it to mavenmonday@frankandmaven.com. We will catch you in the next episode.
We're going to talk about how to optimize your actual website for the regular organic search results.
Yes.
And it's going to be the meat and potatoes.
Because marketers who can't teach you why are just a fancy lie. We'll SEO you guys on the next one.